Right, just a bit more stuff to do across the bridge before we start grinding over there. Of course, part of that grind is going to be me looking to capture an Abra, and those are very annoying to catch. Their only move at this point is going to be teleport, and that means their only move is going to be running away from us every damn time. You've either got to hit them with something like Stun Spore to paralyze them and hope they don't get to move for a turn or two, or you just throw a Pokeball at a fresh one and hope you get lucky. But that's for after we deal with this guy who's standing in the patch of grass we intend to patrol. Yeah, definitely don't like that exchange rate. I've got absolutely no clue why I kept Takanabori out there for so long against a Rattata at that level. It's like I was asking for him to be taken down. Sure, it's not a Nuzlocke run, so that's not taking him out for good, but still, that was painfully easy to avoid. Well, that's our team's overall 90th trainer win. Just really wish I'd done that one a bit better. Right, from here on, the rest of the clip is going to be us grinding. If you don't like grinding, then please do not hesitate to skip the rest of the clip. I could possibly understand the Team Rocket members scaring you, but not the 5 kids. How the hell did you manage to come from Cerulean City over to there in the first place if you didn't take the bridge anyway? Even if it was late enough in the game to be able to surf from point to point, there's no point on the Cerulean side of things to start surfing from, as far as I can tell. And yeah, no need to hold on to that nugget for any real reason, just sell it off to free up some space in our limited inventory. Okay, not the Abra I was hoping for, but it's still a solid Pokemon worth capturing. Not that there's really all that much point in capturing the little guy when we've already got a rather solid grass type in our team right now. Seriously, who's gonna replace an Ivysaur for an Oddish? And to make matters just a little tougher on the little guy, I'm more of a fan of the Bellsprout line than the Oddish one. But again, no harm in capturing one. Possibly going to have to buy more balls if we're going to be hunting for an Abra up here. Huh. A nocturnal plant creature that isn't a mushroom. Didn't see that one coming. Nosferatu isn't the most creative of names to give, but hey, at least I didn't give it to the Zubat we got. That's gotta be worth something. Huh, even have enough digits for us to fully write that name out. Kind of impressive, really. Really? This far into the game, we're still running into wild Kakunas, the trainers around here of Pokemon that are very solidly in their teens, and we're dealing with wild Pokemon that haven't even reached the double digits? Grinding is going to be kind of slow against these guys, that's for sure. Ah well, at least most of the other Pokemon in the grass aren't so low-leveled. So I missed before he even tried to do Sand Attack, but he missed the Sand Attack? Seems a bit weird to me, but then I suppose it could have been a good deal stranger. All these tunes going by so quickly is going to be annoying as hell, but then I probably should have gotten used to it this many clips into this playthrough. That music just feels way too triumphant for an area this early on in the game. Now maybe I'm just very hard to impress, so triumphant music really needs to either be used sparingly or not at all, in my opinion. Well, that Pidgey certainly went down faster than the other one. Guess I got lucky there. Not that luck really means much of anything when you're trying to make your Pokemon stronger outside of trainer battles. Wonder how much of that good luck, when it doesn't matter, is gonna translate to bad luck when things are actually on the line. Not that the stakes in this game are ever gonna get all that high anyway. Again, I'm probably way too used to games where people are at war and trying to kill each other, or the world is at stake or something like that. It just gets a little awkward not to think that way when we've been getting into so many battles in this game so far. Come to think of it, isn't this triumphant music the same tune we heard when Professor Oak was introducing us to this world at the start of the game? Just how many clips ago was that? Anyway, it's a little hard for me to keep track from here, since I've been thrown in Pokemon Stadium footage on top of Pokemon Red and some sparse bits from Blue. All I know at this point is that we're currently on the 28th bit of raw footage from Pokemon Red, and we'll end this clip after the 29th. Those kinds of numbers really help me feel like we're making good amounts of progress, even as we grind. Yeah, definitely not leaving Takanabori out to deal with a bloody Oddish. Not when the only damn move it has is Absorb, and that's a Grass-type move. And of course we get another Oddish. Was hoping for an Abra by now. I'd like to ask how an Oddish is supposed to absorb health from other Pokemon when it doesn't appear to have any tendrils, but I suppose I'm not supposed to wonder about things like that. Just like how I'm not supposed to wonder how a snake manages to wrap around a bird that's not even touching the ground, or what a rock creature eats when convenient berries aren't available, or what the digestive system for all these creatures is supposed to be like. Hell, I don't think I've ever seen any Pokemon in any of the various media ever take a crap. Sure, all things considered, it's not all that important, but I'm the kind of guy that prefers to have some passing knowledge of the nitty-gritty details. Just because I don't want to see the various creatures or characters take a crap, doesn't mean I'm not going to be a bit confused when I never see anything that could be considered a toilet for either the humans or the Pokemon. It's just one of those random ways my mind works as we sit around waiting for something interesting to happen on screen again. Something that might not even happen for another clip or two. Considering the number of critical hits we've landed, it was only a matter of time before we started outright missing. Oh, for God's sakes! Just how rare are Abras around here anyway? They're annoying enough to catch without having to deal with them barely ever showing up as well. I think this is the first time I've retreated to a Pokemon Center because we're running low on an attack, rather than because we're running low on health. Though I might have done that a few times back in Viridian Forest. If nothing else, those Kakuna are good for making us spend moves. Kinda surprised I'm not as exasperated with them as I was with the Zubats in the caves. But again, when you go into the grass, you generally want to get into a lot of fights, either for grinding or because you're looking for something in particular. And we've got both motivations right now. But in caves, you want to get from point A to point B. And considering caves in Pokemon tend to act similar to most environments in other Japanese role-player games, I'm a little iffy how I'm gonna react if I start LPing a Final Fantasy or similar sort of title. It's actually kinda funny. I tend to think of Final Fantasy as the gold standard for Japanese role-players, but Pokemon is a series that has been consistently and steadily doing well over the decades, regardless of the quality of the individual installment. I mean, sure, Final Fantasy VIII is kind of shaky for me. Had potential, but didn't quite get it. With 12 also in that category. 13 is a bit of a train wreck, especially with the sequels that go with it. And I've never been able to get into massive online multiplayer games, so 11 and 14 never had a chance to try grabbing me. But still, Final Fantasy experiments and tries various things, and sometimes they really manage to get an amazing formula that I love coming back to, regardless of how dated the game might actually be. But oddly enough, Pokemon never really had anything that made me go, holy shit, this is downright amazing! At best, I've run into a few games in the franchise that make me go, huh, well that's actually so crazy, it just might work. Pokemon Conquest certainly caught my eye, though I've never gotten around to playing it to the end just yet. I've heard good things about the Mystery Dungeon games, though when I tried going through the first one, I grew frustrated and forgot about continuing it. Probably because the player character I got for that one was Machop, and a large number of the bosses are flying type in that game. And I never got around to doing Pokemon Ranger games, since those require a stylus, and I'm not a fan of that kind of gimmick regardless if I'm emulating the game or not. Add in the fact that the last mainline Pokemon game I bought was the 4th generation, and the last one I played to completion was the 3rd, and I somehow doubt my Pokemon Let's Plays are going to take over my channel. Especially considering how many passionate Pokemon players there are on YouTube and other corners of the internet at this point. Still, it's fun so far, and I hope everybody's having fun watching me. Well, at least Takanabori is level 19 now, and we're occasionally running into Abras. We're not just spinning our wheels at the moment. Again, hope I'm managing to make the quiet moments where barely anything happens entertaining for you all. Well, that Pidgey did more than I was expecting to us. Maybe I've just gotten too used to being pretty lucky when dealing with the wild Pokemon for the most part. It's actually kind of funny, but I can't help feeling that us going up against so many wild Pokemon might be making our Mons better and stronger, but it's making me as a trainer feel like I've gained just way too many bad habits. Not that there are all that many, trainers out here that can make us pay for all the little quirks I've gained over the years. At least not in this mainline game, at any rate. Though the tournaments in Stadium are certainly a good way to keep me humble, at least for this generation. We'll see how Stadium 2 for the second generation feels when we get there. And that is a long ways off, so no hurry on my part to record that generation anytime soon. I know that occasionally teleport fails, so I'm hoping that after a single tackle from Takanabori, if a teleport fails, we can more easily capture one of the little bastards. Great. Just as I was saying it, we get the perfect circumstance, and it still doesn't work out for us. If I had a trainer class, I very much doubt it would be something like a gambler. And great, now Kenny Rogers, gambler, is stuck in my head. Always associated that with the Muppets, really. So when the movie Army of the Dead started using it for the trailers, all I could do was imagine zombie versions of the Muppets. And no, that is not a knock against Disney, though they certainly haven't done all that much to make me feel like they know what made it feel so special in the first place. I loved pretty much everything the Muppets did before Muppet Treasure Island, but everything from Muppets from Space and onwards just didn't grab me at all. Just like how everything after the third generation of Pokemon didn't keep drawing me in that well, even though, technically speaking, they have a lot of what brought me to the table, plus a little extra stuff with each installment, though they removed some of the stuff that they introduced in their previous installments. Wish I had a better idea of what keeps me interested in a given series. Especially since, despite the stupidities of StarCraft 2, especially the installment Heart of the Swarm, I felt pretty beaten down, but I'd still be willing to check out anything else they made for that series. But the Terminator movies? I was willing to keep going until I ran into Genesis. That was the last straw for me. And again, with this third generation of Pokemon, they didn't really do anything especially bad to turn me off. It was just the fact that they were starting to have the player deal with higher stakes things, and that somehow felt like something that other role-player series could pull off with more skill than Pokemon was able to pull off. So I kinda just put it aside, and never heard anything to bring me back. Until, well, pretty much now. Hell, even as I say it, that feels like an unfair assessment. And even with iffy storytelling, the series can be plenty of fun. I just wish I had a better idea of what makes me decide these kinds of things, and what my tolerance level for various things in various media is. Place your bets. Will Takanabori make it to Gyarados before the end of the clip? I'm sure we're getting pretty close at this point. Right! I'm getting the feeling it's not gonna happen in this clip. We're about ready to pack it in and get started with the next one. Oddish feels a lot more common over here than I remembered. Probably because Abra feels less common than I remembered as well. That sort of thing has a way of balancing itself out. And of course there's no way Takanabori is gonna take down this next Pidgey. I guess all the birds are confused he's gonna become a flying type that isn't even gonna be able to actually fly. Or really any flying type moves, despite gaining a secondary type of flying for some reason. Seriously, aside from gaining an immunity to ground attacks, how does flying type help a Gyarados?